Welcome back to another week of Money in the Bank. How are you doing this week, Brett?
Great. How are you doing, Ange?
Really good, actually. Thanks. So I'm actually kind of excited about the topic that we're talking about today because we've been doing a little bit of like undercover detective work on this, and now we're gonna like put it out in the open. So after we came back from Europe, I was just like browsing articles on my phone, I guess, and it was like people earning money on surveys, and I was like, oh, another one of these like scam, right? But then I actually heard somebody talking about it on the Mr. Money Mustache forum, which, that's just user experience. So I found this website called Prolific, and I signed up, and I made $50 my first month. Now, this is not sponsored. This sounds so gimmicky already. I can't even stand it. But this is, like, real, actually. So, then, unbeknownst to you even, when I woke up in the morning, instead of just browsing on my phone and reading more articles about how terrible the world is, I would just take like a 10-minute survey and make $1. Mm-hmm. So every time I was like mindlessly on my phone, instead of like going on Instagram again, I would just do this instead. And a month over month now, I've done this, September, October, and November, we're almost through. I have made between $35 and $50 each month. Mm-hmm. And then you started doing it.
Yeah, I signed up for that one, and I looked through, I was like, well, if this one's great, like, I spend more time in the day on a computer than you do probably, where I just have like all kinds of windows open. If a new survey pops up on anything, then I want to be able to consume that and just like do it real quick, because they only ever take like 5 to 10 minutes max, right? So I signed up for, I think, like 6 or 7 different ones. I looked into which ones were good. There's like top 25 lists of like making money, from working from home or whatever lists. And I found that there were just like a couple of them. You actually had a great one. The Prolific one was like fantastic. There was another one that was like Pinecone surveys or Pinecone research. That is another really good one. They don't send them out as often, but the ones that they do send out, you get paid very well for. Mm-hmm. So that's even better because it's like an occasional one here and there. But I'd say there's like 3 or 4 other ones that I was able to make like $15 on within the first like couple weeks of just doing something very easy. One was like keeping a food log for like 7 days, and that was worth like $10 for that.
Right.
And one was, just doing some activities here and there. Like, I think Amazon also does this too. It's called Amazon MTurk or Amazon Turk. You can do all kinds of things. People and researchers just like submit questions and ask people to do certain things one at a time, very quick tasks. Could be 1 to 3 seconds per task even, and they'll give you like maybe 1 or 2 cents per task or something like that, right. Or it'll go up to like $1 per task.
Well, so MTurk is actually really, I think it's Mechanical Turk.
Mechanical Turk.
It's actually really interesting because they do have surveys, which you get paid, 10 cents to $1 for, kind of like the Prolific model. But then you can also do tasks, like you said. So I actually transcribed a 9-minute video, which embarrassingly, it took me like an hour to transcribe a 9-minute video because I had to keep pausing it and catch up. But I got like $20 for that.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say, Mechanical Turk is something that I have to kind of be sitting down and more like focused on I'm going to do something on my computer, which doesn't fit my life right now as well. But, for people out there that are stay-at-home moms that are like, oh, I could definitely hop on my laptop for an hour or 2 each day to get some pocket money, I think Mechanical Turk would be a great fit in that scenario.
Right, and there's a lot of mindless ones too. If you're just sitting there on the computer and watching Netflix and you have the benefit of doing like a dual screen, or you're on your computer and then watching it on the TV or something, you can just do, there's items on there that are as simple as outlining a potato coming through an assembly line to help train the scanners to like learn like what is the potato and what isn't the potato. And so like that was on there. I think the first week out it was on there, and you could do that like 1,000 times at like 1 cent or 2 cents each. And so you could make like $10 doing the potato game, right? If you were just watching something and just trying to zone out at the same time.
Yeah.
So boom, circle. Okay, here's another one. Boom, another circle. Oh, there's only half a potato here. That one's easy, right? So it was, and you can kind of game it too to be like, okay, I'm going to do this like as fast as possible, right? So I was getting it down to being like 1.5 seconds like per potato.
So you were basically making a game out of it,
yeah,
and making money by playing a game.
Correct. Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people are trying to get on YouTube and, because there's all those YouTubers where people watch you play games. And I know so many people that are like, oh, that's the dream.
I could live stream the potato highlighting game.
Well, I don't mean
Twitch.
that, but I mean, for the average person, playing a game on YouTube and making money is pretty much a dream at this point, right? But you could actually make some money playing this potato game. So there you go.
Yep, you get probably a lot less viewers, but yeah, you'd still make money overall.
Yeah. So, we've kind of done this. We didn't really, it's not like we needed the extra money for anything. We weren't doing it for a reason. But, as I started doing it, I was like, I help a lot of people with budgets. And if we can pretty easily each make an extra $50 a month, whatever way, whether you're doing potatoes all day and I'm just taking surveys, that's $100 a month. And for a lot of people, that's huge, right? Because that opens up $100 that you could be paying down your debt faster, or $100 that you could be saving more, right? Mm-hmm. So this is huge. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say this is $100 that you could be going on date nights, because if you're like, hello, this is the wrong podcast for that. But it's $100 to kind of help advance your financial goals, which, it's not a life-changing amount of money necessarily, but it adds up.
Right, and it's based to play off of the amount of time people spend just like browsing Facebook, right? If, last week you spent 10 hours like on Facebook or something throughout your day, every day total, if you could turn that into doing 10 hours of like either these surveys or highlighting potatoes or whatever, right? Would you just be happier with like the 25 or $50 that you would have accumulated doing this?
Right.
Or are you happier not having the $50 and learning whatever you learned on Facebook for that?
Well, and this is actually a really interesting argument right now, because I've been listening to a lot of other podcasts and reading news articles about how actually browsing on Facebook makes you unhappy and depressed.
Yep, I would agree with that.
So, and I'm not saying Facebook is evil. I'm not saying it's the root of all evil. I think there's a lot of really good uses for it. One example is I got to talk to my friend from Hungary the other night, right? Mm-hmm. And we use Facebook Messenger for that. That makes me really happy because I love her. Hey, Timmy, if you're listening. But, I think where it crosses the line is when you start like comparing yourself to others, and it's right because everybody puts their highlight reel on social media, and then it is showing, like studies are showing that it's having a negative effect on people. So I always challenge people to give up social media anyways, take a break from it, post less, get on it less. And if one way to do that is to make yourself busy with taking surveys, so at the end of the money you're happier and you have $50, like I'm just solving world problems over here, What can I say?
Right, yeah. Or, at the end of the day, if you were to like go out and get a second job and spend the same amount of time doing that at some minimum wage, that would make more money, right? This is just like something to fill your free time with, day by day. If you have some gaps here and there, make a couple bucks, and after like 6 months, you'll have a reasonably substantial amount of money that you could actually do something with where you wouldn't have had that otherwise.
Yeah, so, bringing up the second job is a good idea, because if you're in, extreme financial turmoil but you have a lot of free time, then I say go for the second job. Right. Mm-hmm. But don't go for a second job that's going to make you unhappy and miserable. Like there's a lot of fun jobs out there, like when I was 19, I worked 2 jobs, and one was Mancino's, which I know you're probably still jealous of to this day because you love their grinders.
Delicious, so good.
And then my other job was working out on a golf course, working in the stand where I served like hot dogs and drinks. And that was a great job because I was basically just like outside grilling. Like who wouldn't want to do that?
My dad's ideal job, yeah.
A lot of people, right? So, there's like definitely some part-time jobs that, my sister works 2 jobs. She's a teacher by that's her normal
Primary,
job.
Yep.
But then she works for a cleaning service because she likes to clean. Now, I'm not advocating that. I hate cleaning, but if you like it, whatever you're good at, for me, if there was a part-time job, if they would allow me to be a seasonal accountant and I could just do people's taxes, I would do it in a heartbeat because I love doing taxes, right? Which I know everybody thinks I'm crazy now, but we all have our thing. My sister likes to clean. I like to do taxes. We can trade services.
And all kinds of things, yeah.
So, I definitely think at some point, if you're like, yeah, $50 wouldn't help my life, then look into a second job. But, there's other things you can do too. So if you don't want to commit to, working that second job or signing up for that firm commitment of giving up your free time in life, then you can make home goods and sell them. So Michigan is really cool because we have the cottage food law, which basically means you can use your home kitchen to make baked goods and sell them, at a farmer's market or wherever.
Craft fair or whatever.
Yeah, as long as you say, this product falls in line with the Michigan cottage laws and follow the laws. So, there's that, or some people are really good at knitting or whatever it is. If you can take something, add value to it, and resell it, then you add in that margin to make money.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that have great talent and don't even think about that. They just make stuff for fun, or like love to do woodworking, or love to create like custom things and do a really good job, spend a lot of time on it. People that are passionate about like, nitpicking and being perfectionists about creating some of these crafts. Like, yeah, you can turn that over to be a sale. It doesn't have to just sit in your corner, right? Maybe you only make a couple things here and there. You don't have to turn into this big production facility to like start cranking this stuff out. Just if you even have one product, you can just like throw it up and put it on like an Etsy store.
Yeah.
Or if you do stuff enough, you can start a YouTube channel and you can put it on like with a Patreon, and you can teach people how to do some of those techniques. I know woodworking has really blown up, and I've been looking at that on like YouTube and stuff. And there's a lot of great talent out there that are really good and showcasing things and have pretty high quality videos and techniques, and it's very helpful for somebody that's like getting into that field.
Yeah.
And learning how to do some of that stuff one piece at a time.
Yeah, and I will say, even if you don't feel like you have a skill right now, I have a friend who kind of out of the blue just saw these like, she lives out west, and she saw this bracelet she really liked, and it was like $60. She's like, I can't afford that. She drove over to Hobby Lobby. Pinterest is like everybody's BFF lately. So she found a tutorial on Pinterest, drove over to Hobby Lobby, got the stuff, made this bracelet, and she started getting compliments on it. So for Christmas, she just made them for her closest friends, right? And she was like, here's these bracelets. And then she had friends kind of coming back and be like, where'd you get this? I wanted one for my mom or my sister. So she just started making them and kind of filling like local orders. But then it kind of word of mouth kept traveling, and everyone like apparently it was the world's best bracelet. I don't know. So everyone really like wanted it. So she opened an Etsy shop where she only has like 3 styles, right? She sells like a bracelet, a necklace, and maybe an anklet, right? But I've kind of kept in touch with her, and she started blogging about her experience. She turned her Etsy shop into a 5-figure income.
Wow.
So, I mean,
that
like
was some bracelet.
Yeah, right. But I think it just kind of goes to show like anybody can do it. She said her biggest thing with Etsy was kind of figuring out how to take the right pictures, right? Because Etsy search results are all about your pictures and the tagging, so there's a lot that goes into it, but she said that was actually harder than making the bracelets, was like figuring out the algorithms and playing the Etsy game. But she did that pretty successfully, I'd say, because if I was making 5 figures on Etsy, I'd be pretty pleased with myself.
Right, and there's other services out there too. It doesn't have to be just crafts or a particular set of skills. You can, you can look on things like Thumbtack for people asking for different services. Like, do you have any trade skills? Are you, electrician, plumber? Can you clean gutters? Like, can you help out cleaning somebody's house that needs a helping hand? Like somebody that got hurt in an accident and can't like get around as much anymore. Like coming in and helping them do stuff around the house just on an as needed basis.
Well, and when we were in Chicago, I actually set up a profile on Thumbtack. Then I never did it because I was lazy, but if you're in a big city, dog walking, because you can go to one building, pick up like 5 dogs, walk them for half an hour, and everybody just paid you like $15-20, right? So you just made like $100 for a half an hour walk.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of like little things like that and services. Like Postmates right now is a really popular service that I'm hearing about that just started up for doing like any kind of like running errands for people. There's like, here's what I want you to do, and the people will go and do it and get stuff that you need, or go pick up something from somewhere and bring it back. And for people that have like small kids and like can't get out or can't leave the house because they need to take the kids with them, and that's a whole thing. Like, that's a great service for some people that have the disposable income to do that, and you can just like be part of that service and jump on that bandwagon and just like do things here and there. So there's a lot of just like fun jobs or like small like part-time things here and there that you can pick up work where it's not like career focused anymore. And that helps a lot of people that are maybe lower income or want to just take advantage of the system and just have available free time to be able to do some things on the side.
Yeah.
At their own leisure, right? Whenever they want.
Or, we've talked about people reaching financial independence, but maybe you get there and you're like, oh, I just feel more comfortable if I was making something. Then great, you can, offer these services or learn a new skill and do stuff that you really enjoy, and you're not like, oh, I have to get paid X number of dollars a month. It's just like, oh, whatever I get is fine, right? So there's a lot of really cool reasons to do that, whether you need the extra income now to pay off debt, or you just want to be able to quit your 9 to 5, if you can financially do that. There's a lot of great reasons why some of these services can provide that relief to people. So there was one other example around town here, kind of going back to food prep, but we have the cottage food laws here in Michigan, but we also locally have had a lot of incubator kitchens popping up. So that's kind of a cool model because, I talked to some people and they're like, oh, I would really love to open a restaurant someday. But what these incubator kitchens are allowing people to do is make the food on site without having to pay the overhead costs, just a rental fee, and then turn around and sell it at that same location during events, whether it's a farmer's market or a community, Jamboree Day or whatever it is, which is a great way to get your foot in the door and see, like, do I really enjoy this, big scale food prep? And I think like seeking out these cool community opportunities too, and jumping in and seeing what's in your local community and being part of it, whether you're compensated or not, you build a network, and that is priceless.
Right, and does that network, increase the demand, and without having to like buy a huge facility that you need to start scaling up your production, can you make this stuff in larger scale? Does it scale up? Because making like muffins in your oven, right, and having people love that is not the same as making 1,000 muffins a day, right? And it's a whole different process, and the recipes are all going to change, and the equipment all changes and stuff. All that stuff is really expensive to get to that level, and using these facilities to be able to test this out, even if it's just for like a month or 2 months. I know the example that they had in town here was the lady running the whole facility. We were talking to her one day. She said there was a young couple that had moved in there for a couple months, and they were fermenting everything in sight was what she posed it as.
And I was like, who are they?
Yeah,
like, sign me up.
They're making kimchi, they're making sauerkraut, they're making pickled beets, and whatever they could find. They were jarring it and pickling it and selling it and labeling it.
And it was great.
They had great stuff.
It was so good.
I think we got their kimchi, and it was fantastic. So that was a great startup. They were in there. They just needed a larger space, a larger facility to be able to grow that operation, and to be like a little bit more official with what they were doing. And it turned out to be a great thing for them to do. And then they were able to roll in there, found out it was great, and then move into like a real facility where they could do it more long term. And then the next person just moved into that space that they were in, and kind of did the same thing, testing the waters. Yeah. It's a great thing to do. A great thing.
And we've had quite a few restaurants rise up through this incubator kitchen. We've even had like a brewery rise up through this. So, finding these, I would love someday to be able to have this space and kind of be the one in charge of the kitchen and having these people come through, because it's amazing what talent is out there once people start rolling in and have this like lower cost entry point to get in and test their ideas. And so, if you've been on the fence about this, find these opportunities, try it. Like, the world needs whatever delicious thing you've been hiding in your kitchen for too long.
There was some little old lady making Haitian food, I think, like, right? Or it was either Haitian
Ethiopian.
or Ethiopian, that's right. Also, Haitian is amazing. But yeah, she's just like, is there a market for people liking Ethiopian food in Michigan, in the Midwest here? Like, you don't see that all over.
And there is.
And there is, yeah. It was fantastic. Like, one of our friends would go back every single week. Like, it was open on Wednesday. This lady would be there, and she would run out of food. Like, we got there an hour before she closed one day, and like she was out of 4 out of the 5 things already because people were going nuts for it. So it's a free feasibility test basically for her to go in there and like see what the demand is and be like, wow, people love my stuff. Maybe I should like look at doing this, right?
And I think when you have these businesses rise up through that way, then you have like local businesses that are you have this like great community vibe that keeps growing. So the example I have of that is the barbecue place we tried the other night that just opened near our house. And they make amazing barbecue food, right?
Yeah, the best brisket I've ever had, like by a mile.
And it was not expensive. It was, very reasonably priced, very delicious. And when they opened, they actually offered, a free year of barbecue to their first customer. This guy waited outside for 36 hours, and then he donated his year supply he asked for the cash equivalent and donated to the local homeless shelter. And so the reason I'm emphasizing this is whatever opportunity you're looking for, stop thinking like nationally, stop thinking globally. look back at your own community and say, what can I do to make my community a better place? Because, this barbecue place came in and was like, we're going to just serve people really good food. And then their customers are proving that, like, what they're doing and building this local community is giving back tenfold, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So whatever idea you have, get out there, network, and make your, dream a reality.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Don't be afraid. Just put your talent out there, and people will end up liking it more often than not, as long as it's a reasonable product. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
People like new stuff. So.
Yeah. But write a business plan, and we will talk about that in another episode of Money in the Bank. All right, so thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. We really appreciate each and every one of you. If you like our content, please subscribe. We are on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher now. I will drop in my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Other than that, keep tuning in every week, and we will help you stay on your financial journey.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.